The Biden administration has officially restarted the Remain in Mexico policy that was implemented by the Trump administration and which Biden had promised to stop during his presidential campaign. This policy was created in 2019 and has been used to send approximately 70,000 asylum seekers to border towns in Mexico to await their immigration cases, where they have been subject to sexual assault, kidnappings, and torture. Stay tuned for all the details because this policy has important implications for immigration in the United States and has been expanded to apply to every asylum seeker from any country in the Western Hemisphere. Also, please take a second to like this video so that more people can see it. The Remain in Mexico policy, also known as the Migrant Protection Protocols, or the MPP for short, was shut down by President Biden when he first took office, fulfilling his campaign promise to end the controversial program. Unfortunately, in August of this year, a U.S. district judge in Texas ruled that the Biden administration had to resume the program until it could be rescinded in a way that complied with the Administrative Procedures Act, and the Supreme Court refused to block the lower court's ruling. As a result, DHS has had to enforce and implement the MPP in good faith until it can be lawfully rescinded. That began on Monday as migrants started to be returned to an undisclosed border city. In October, DHS Secretary Alejandro Mayorkas wrote a memo insisting that the Biden administration remains committed to eventually ending the program, but immigration activists are skeptical. Some of the relatively positive changes to this policy under Biden include improved access to legal representatives, COVID-19 vaccinations, and a faster court hearing process. But with immigration courts backlogged and with no phone lines for migrants to contact legal representation, it will be difficult to deliver on some of these promises. Another change includes the ability of border agents to interview migrants fearing for their lives to determine whether or not they face a reasonable possibility of danger in Mexico, something these agents are not qualified to do. And the biggest change that has immigration activists up in arms is the fact that Biden's administration has expanded the policy to cover citizens of all countries in the Western Hemisphere, whereas it was previously limited to only Spanish-speaking asylum seekers. This goes beyond the good faith compliance and has many questioning Biden's intentions to permanently end the policy. I will continue bringing you more information on this policy and other immigration news as it becomes available. So if you have not yet subscribed, make sure to do so now. So what does this mean for migrants and asylum seekers in the U.S.? There is no way for the U.S. to ensure migrant safety while they remain in one of the most dangerous parts of the world. Human Rights First has been collecting publicly reported cases of violent attacks on individuals returned to Mexico under the MPP since 2019, and they number into the hundreds. Under former President Trump, thousands of migrants lived in overcrowded shelters in border cities like Tijuana, Ciudad Juarez, and Matamoros, where they were easy targets for organized crime. The reinstatement of this policy will also likely slow down asylum processing for everyone, including Mexican nationals. The Mexican government is requesting that asylum seekers receive counsel and have their claims processed within 6 months. But most migrants in Mexico take months just to find an attorney for their case. And once they do so, it can be difficult to work together. In response, Policy Director at the American Immigration Council, George Lowry, issued a statement saying, "We categorically reject Biden administration's claims that it can administer the Remain in Mexico program in a more humane manner. The longer the administration delays terminating this unlawful and cruel policy, the more people will suffer." What do you think? Will the Biden administration eventually terminate this policy, or will they continue using it to slow their recent increase in border crossings as they have with Title 42? Leave me comments and let me know. And be sure to check out my recent immigration video on the provisions in the Build Back Better reconciliation bill, which were recently reviewed by the Senate parliamentarian Elizabeth McDonough. I will include a link to that video here, and I will continue to bring you more news as updates become available. Click to see this video, and I'll see you there.